Alright, welcome to the channel, and today we'll be talking about the THIEAUDIO Monarchs Mark II. And these were sent out by a community member, and I'll be sending them back to them here shortly, actually, hopefully tomorrow. But anyways, thank you so much for the opportunity to try these out and check out some of the other gear you sent along. It was much appreciated. And let's dive into the build and aesthetics of the THIEAUDIO Monarch Mark II. Right off the bat, the build is really excellent. Easy to get along with. Fit and finish is really nice. It fits in the ear easily. I've never really had too many problems with THIEAUDIO's fit and build quality. I've always actually really enjoyed it. In fact, the Monarch 1s, Mark 1s, I really enjoyed. I thought those were fantastic. And these are pretty much the same deal. Like, the build is really excellent. The shell is really pretty. The overall comfort is really nice. The acrylics excellently put together and molded. The cable is decent. I mean, it does have the 2-pin, which I'm not really the biggest fan of 2-pin, to be honest. I always feel like I'm going to break it, but it is solid. And this is the cable that came with it from the gentleman that sent these out to demo, and I believe it's the same stock cable, and it's fantastic. Like, just a wonderful 4.4 Pinacon triple win cable, and this is excellent cable, fantastic cable. Really enjoy this cable. So I'm not sure if this is actually the stock cable for it, but triple win cable. It's this yellow and white look to it, 4.4 Pinacon, carbon fiber, whatnot. Fantastic cable. That's what was sent along. The overall general feel and build of the THIEAUDIO Monarch Mark IIs is quite excellent. It has a nice little port there, so you don't get too much pressure buildup. Yeah, so let's dive into the sound, which I'll jump over to kind of going through a couple tracks and my thoughts as I go through those tracks. So let's do that now. Alright, so let's dive into some listening tests, and I'm utilizing Qobuz into my iFi Griffin, which is pretty awesome. Using that for 4.4 as a quick, easy kind of baseline, and I don't have any of the kind of add-ons going, bass boost or any of that kind of stuff. So 88 Rising split first track, and let's dive into this. Right off the bat, it's very nice, clean sound. Her vocals come in really excellent, really enjoy it. The bass is definitely prominent. I really like her vocals. And then the stage and imaging is really good, but it's IEM, so they're in my head still. But it's definitely good for what it is. I really like the strumming of the bass and the guitar, and then the drums in the background with the hi-hats and whatnot, so that's really cool. Really enjoying that. It's pretty cool. I really dig this, actually. It's pretty fun little sounding IEM. And it's, honestly, I don't really have too many faults with it at this stage. Let's move to another track and see what that does. Let's go with Masego Tadao. A little bit of hip-hop R&B type track. Ooh, like it already. Little snaps of the finger, sounds really good. But anyways, his vocals are excellent. Sounds really good. Bass is, yeah, it's nice. It's not super in your face, but it's nice layered in there well. His vocals are very forward. Ooh, and then it kicks in with the drum, and it's punchy, boom, really boomy, and like gets there. Really digging the bass on these. The bass and mids and upper mids seem to be the highlight, and then the hi-hats sound really good. Drums and whatnot. Saxophone comes in, and it's just really lovely. The highs are, I wouldn't say rolled off, but they're just nicely maintained. Like, they're not overly sparkly. It's really good. I really enjoy the sound of this. Saxophone is really lovely. Yeah, and the vocals are nice. I would say that the bass is a little more emphasized, and it's almost on par with the vocals. Vocals are a little bit more forward ahead of the bass, but it sounds really good, enjoyable. All right, let's try Imelda May, Call Me. This is more of a vocal acoustic type deal. And it does have this interesting, like, it's kind of weird when they do this, when they layer in on the mastering of it, like that, like, hiss or fuzz in the track. And so this has that, which is kind of, I don't know, it's a artistic choice. So, but I like it. This track overall, though, is really good. And her vocals are lovely coming in right off the bat. But I will say, with these, it is a little distracting having that hiss there. But it's good. I really like it. So I'd say that this is definitely a warmer IEM, but it's really excellent. It fits nicely in where I would like my preferences personally. Let's go to Thinking About Love by Wild Rivers, another good vocal track. And see, this one's lovely, like just fantastic right off the bat. And the bass just like sits there really nicely in the background. And her vocals are very forward. Has a nice echo to the space that they're in. Yeah, it definitely feels like this one's strengths for the Monarch 2 would be like the low end, mids, and upper mids. And then the highs are like good. I wouldn't say they're like above excellent or like, but they're good. I'm getting a little bit of grain in the upper range. A little bit noisy in the upper range. I think that's the mastering of this track though. Let's do one more track. We'll do Wild Light Twirl Me, which is another one that I've been listening to a lot for like assessing headphones for whatever reason. Kicks in with the piano and it's really, really beautiful like imaging and staging. It's not like the most wide stage for this track, but it has really cool imaging. And the vocals are really nice. And it layers in like pretty rapidly and nicely, so it's a good way to see how things work. Yeah, this is excellent. I'd say definitely the low end and mids and the vocals seem to be a high point for me for this, like what I really enjoy. And I actually really like these a lot for the tracks that I would listen to. Really digging on it. Yeah, this is excellent. This is really excellent. Really enjoy this. You know, I'm going to do Killing Me Softly with Fugees for just one more little hit, and then I'm going to try and find like a hip-hop track or something and see how that plays with this. Oh man, right off the bat, her vocals, fantastic. Wow, digging it. The other thing that's really nice with this is like it's a little bit subdued in that high range, so it kind of throws you off a little bit, but it's actually the mids, everything else just sounds really nice. I'd say that's the biggest thing with these that I would say is a negative, is that it can be not as forward as I would like with certain tracks. Like this one, for instance, it does feel like it's a little subdued. But it sounds really excellent, though. Like, other than the fact that it kind of feels pulled back a bit. But not a lot. Like, just enough to where it's kind of noticeable. I'm going to do Anderson .Paak, Come Down as the hip-hop kind of test track, tryout track. And it's funny, here, once again, it has that little bit of subdued for, like, the hi-hats and drum, snare. But the vocals are forward, and the bass has a nice, like, thump to it. Yeah. Fantastic. I think that, yeah, we'll dive into my thoughts here next. Alright, so those are my thoughts on the sound, and before I dive into my kind of final thoughts, let's do a quick segment of Does It Game? Alright, so loading into Destiny for Does It Game? Monarch Mark II by THIEAUDIO. And being a filthy controller player, and right off the bat, I think there's something not quite right in the upper region. Not really digging on the sound effects right now. Yeah, not really digging the sound effects. There's something weird going on with like the high end, and the low end is kind of muddy and not my favorite. Interesting. I'm also sitting really close to a very large screen, so it's not easy to see. But yeah, there's something not right with the way this sounds to me. Like, I'm not digging on the sound for this. I think for this, like, it was just a little bit too, I don't know, like, just mucky, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. Not the way it sounds with music. Like, with music, they sound really easy to get along with and really nice. With the game, specifically Destiny 2, wasn't having the best time with these. So, with that, let's go back into final thoughts. Cheers. Alright, so that's my thoughts on gaming with it. Not my favorite thing in the world for gaming. I'd probably stick to music with these because this is pretty fun and easy to go along with for music. So my final thoughts on these are, the THIEAUDIO Monarch Mark II, is that for kind of like an everyday, easy to get along with listen with, if you prefer something a little more warmth into it, a little more punchiness to it, maybe not the highest highs and not that sparkly, and kind of like easy to get along with highs, it was maybe a little more forward vocals and a really nice low end, then I would say these are for you. They're definitely fun, easy to eat along with, and I enjoy them actually a lot. And in fact, I really enjoyed the Mark 1s. In fact, I think for the bang for the buck, the Mark 1s would probably still be on a little bit above these ones, since I have the Mest if I was to have multiple IEMs kind of deal. But for me, yeah, these are still excellent, especially if you want that little bit higher end quality. These definitely punched above the Mark 1s in my opinion for their quality in that low end and mid range zones. The Mark 2s are a step up from the Mark 1s, but at the end of the day, I personally still prefer my Mest Mark 1s over these generally, but these are still quite excellent, and it's not a mark against them, it's just a personal preference. And yeah, so definitely recommend if you're in the ballpark for something like these. So cheers, and hopefully everyone has a great rest of their week.